Good afternoon. The court is going to take up the next case on the court's docket. This is C210055CPS. The case is set for a show cause hearing, and it relates to the children Reina Ann Perez and Zyle Alberto Ray Perez. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is caseworker Jessica Russell, Supervisor Jenna Hooks, and Regional Attorney Catherine Estrada. The mother of the the children is Angelica Pena, and she is participating in the hearing today along with her court-appointed attorney, Adelita Madeline Smith. The father of the child is Brandon Perez, and I'll confirm in a moment whether or not he's participating in the hearing. The court has appointed Todd Simons as his attorney ad litem, and Mr. Simons is participating in the hearing today. The attorney ad litem and guardian ad litem for the children is Gerald Ratliff, and Mr. Ratliff is participating in the hearing today. The children are excused from participating in the hearing. Let me confirm, is Brandon Perez on our conference? If you are, could you please let me know? I see someone participating in the hearing under the designation Moto G Power. If you're on that device, could you notify the court your identity, please? If you are on the device labeled Moto G Power, can you advise the court your identity, please? Okay, I'll ask one more time. Is Brandon Perez the father of the children on this conference? All right. Whoever's on the device Moto G Power, I'm showing your microphone is working, but I'm not hearing any response. If you're on this hearing, you're going to need to let the court know.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Brandon told me he is on the hearing. I don't know if he's having trouble with his phone or not. Okay,
well, if he's not able to get in on his phone, you may give him the number that the number where he can call in if he's not able to connect otherwise. Mr. Perez, are you able to hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Good. And as I indicated, the hearing that is set today is a show cause hearing on an original petition filed by Child Protective Services. Ms. Estrada, can you advise the court and the parties in council what orders the department is seeking at this hearing today?
Yes, Your Honor. The department is asking to be named temporary managing conservator of both children, for the parents to be named possessory conservators, for the parents to be ordered to work services, for the parents to have visitation in accordance with a visitation plan, and for the parents to work with the department to provide names of potential relative placement options for the children.
And where would the children be placed if the court grants those orders at this time?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that the department does not have placement options at this point, so it would be foster care.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Smith, have you had a chance to confer with your client regarding the orders requested, and do you know what her position is on those orders?
Your Honor, I have had a chance to confer with Ms. Pena. She is willing to work services. However, we are opposed to the child being placed in foster care at this time. To the extent I haven't discussed the entirety of what Ms. Estrada is asking with her, but I have been able to speak with her regarding most of these issues.
Right, thank you. Mr. Simons, you know what your client's position is on the orders requested?
We're in the same position, Judge. We've discussed working services, but it was understanding the child was to stay in the home where it is with the mother.
My understanding then is the parents are opposed, the orders requested, so we'll need to proceed with an evidentiary hearing in the case. So the court can make a ruling on whether to grant the orders requested. Is the department ready to proceed, Mr. Estrada?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Simons, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Smith, are you ready to proceed?
Your Honor, I am. I'm having a few connection issues. I keep getting kicked on and off. I'm going to try to resolve those, but if I do get kicked off, I will log back on. I might try to use my phone instead of my computer.
Yeah, you may have to
Just
call
re-
in if your computer doesn't work on the number. All right, Ms. Radliff, are you ready to proceed?
We're ready, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Estrada, if you're ready to proceed, you can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department would call Jessica Russell.
All right, thank you. Let me see. Let me go ahead and swear everybody in. I'm going to ask Ms. Hooks, Ms. Russell, Ms. Pena, and Mr. Perez. I think that's everybody. If each of you raise your right hands, please. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Estrada, you can proceed with Ms. Russell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Russell, can you please state your name for the record?
Jessica Russell.
And how are you associated with this case?
I am the CPS investigator assigned to this case.
Why did the department come to be involved with this family?
On May 25th, we got a report. Mr. Perez left the children unattended in the residence. Police had to assist in getting the children out. Once the police were inside the residence, the house was viewed to be a total mess. There was trash on the floor. There was dog feces around. There was food. There was furniture kind of against the walls. So the house was in disarray, but it was mainly because the children were left in the house unattended.
Okay. And did you yourself investigate the conditions of the home?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What did you learn during your investigation of the home?
So when we got into the home, the house was a complete mess. There was food, like old food that was on the floor. There was empty boxes. It was really hard to kind of walk around. A lot of the bedrooms, there was 2 of them that did have some dog feces in them. It was just unsanitary for the children to be in the house.
Okay. And how many times have you gone to see the house?
I've gone about 7 to 10 times.
Okay. And how many times have you requested that the house be cleaned up?
When I first started with the investigation, I requested it to be cleaned. I did put a safety plan in for mom to go across the street until it got cleaned. Mom stopped working with me for a while. She wasn't letting us in, but when we finally got back in, mom had the house cleaned, and I've gone over there 3 other times, and the house has been clean and appropriate for the children.
Okay. During the course of your involvement with this family, has the house needed to be cleaned up more than once?
Well, the parents weren't letting me in for a while. So when I first got in is when the house had to be cleaned. Once we put the safety plan in for the parents to stay across the street with the grandparents, mom stopped communicating with me. Brandon actually assisted me in getting in touch with the mom for her to open the door. Once she did, the house needed to be cleaned some more, but it wasn't like it was in the beginning.
Okay. Has there been a history of domestic violence between these parents?
Yeah, well, we've gotten some police reports with verbal arguing with the police had to come out. Nothing with physical altercations.
Okay. But is that history a concern for the department?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What efforts were made to prevent the need for a removal in this case?
So we tried to do a safety plan with the grandma across the street, and that is Angelica's mother. However, the safety plan was broken because the mother had some medical issues. And then we put another safety plan once we were actually allowed into the house to go back to her mom's, just her and the children. She could not return home until the house was clean. That safety plan was broken. Mom actually returned back to the house.
Okay. And was this family referred to family-based safety services?
Yes, we actually referred them to FBSS. However, with the safety plans that were broken and the mom really didn't want to do in the beginning, FBSS was not going to be able to accept the case.
Okay. Is there a pattern of behavior in this case that the department believes would be mitigated if these parents were ordered to work some services?
Yes, so the parents have a use of marijuana. We feel that, you know, with services, we could get the drug treatment that would help with those issues. With the domestic violence, we believe that would be resolved, especially with counseling for the both of them. And then with us staying in with the parents, we can ensure the safety of the children with the house being cleaned. So services would be a great benefit for the family.
Okay. So it would be your testimony then that these issues may not be addressed if the department were no longer involved with this family.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there a concern about the children's safety if they're allowed to remain in the parents' care?
Yes, it is, because with the parents, we don't know if the living, situation is going to go back to what it was, and the house will be filthy, and the kids will actually be put in harm's way again. We don't know with the parents if they're going to wind up having an argument that's going to lead to domestic violence, which would be placing the kids in a dangerous situation. With the parents' use of marijuana, we don't know if they're going to wind up taking care of the children and being under the influence while supervising the children.
Okay. Are you asking that the department be named temporary managing conservator of these children?
Yes, ma'am.
And does the department have a plan for, let me rephrase that. Has the department looked into any potential relative placement options for these children?
The only one that we had was the grandmother across the street, but she does have some medical issues. There was some other siblings in the house that would not provide us with information, so I couldn't use their background information. I've not been provided with other people that would be an option for placement.
Okay. So if the department was named temporary managing conservator of the children today, what would be the plan for placement?
It would be foster care.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Start with you. Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. And I was kicked up. I was trying to log back on, but I did miss some of Ms. Russell's testimony towards the beginning, but I'll try to cover everything that I've got. In your previous testimony, Ms. Russell, you spoke about my client's drug testing. When was that test taken?
On 7/8.
Okay, and that's the last time that she has been drug tested?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we don't know if she would test positive today or not.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Currently, are you aware if Brandon and my client are living together?
They are not. Brandon either is staying with the grandma across the street, which has been confirmed, or he is staying with his sister.
Okay. So the domestic violence issues that the department's concerned about, if they're not living together, does that eliminate that threat and worry to the department to some extent?
Yes, it eliminates it right now, but once we get out of the case, I'm not for sure if he is going to wind up moving back into the home, which domestic violence will occur after that.
Okay. Is there a possibility of the department being able to provide the services to mine and Mr. Simon's client, and be able to check in on them and make sure the home is clean, and that give them drug tests frequently, provide resources for them to get jobs, HUD, housing, all the other services that CPS normally provides, and allow the children to remain with the mother if she does keep the house clean and stay and herself stay clean and all the meet the requirements of the department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's something that the department would consider?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe it would be in these children's best interest to be taken away from their parents and put in foster care?
That just depends on the parents and if they are going to remain drug-free, no domestic violence, and keep the house clean. But, you know, for what I've seen from the previous case, that hasn't happened.
Has my client up to this point indicated a willingness to work services to you?
Yes, she said she would today, that she would work services.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Russell. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Simons, any questions?
Just to be clear, so yes, sir. Currently, there's nothing keeping the children from going back to the house, correct? Everything's in good shape, et cetera?
Correct.
Okay, no further questions.
All right, Mr. Ratliff, any questions?
Yes. Has Mrs. Pena been cooperative with you, or do you feel like she's been hiding out?
I'm sorry, you cut out.
I say, do you feel like that Mrs. Pena has been cooperative with you, or has she been kind of hiding from you?
At the beginning, she was hiding, but she's been cooperative about the past month.
But that hadn't always been the case. Is that correct?
That's correct.
As far as the father is concerned, does he appear on the birth certificate?
I don't know if he's on the birth certificate.
Okay. So you don't have any concerns about who the father is of these children, whether he is the father or not?
Miss Pena has told me that he is the father and he is on the birth certificate. However, I have not seen the birth certificate.
How are the children doing now?
And the children appear to be doing good.
Okay. Physically, they don't have any issues?
No, I believe that the Raina, she will probably need ECI. She appears to be a little delayed in her speech.
Have you discussed that with Miss Pena?
Yes, ma'am, or yes, sorry, yes, sir, I have. She told me that the pediatrician has referred her to ECI. It just has not been followed through.
I'm sorry, you cut out on that last bit. Would you repeat that?
Yes, Miss Pena told me that her pediatrician has recommended ECI. She just has not followed through with the recommendation.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Strada, any additional questions?
No questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Any other questions for this witness?
Your Honor, I briefly have one additional question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Russell, since the condition of the home, I know it was in pretty bad shape at the beginning of the FBSS case. When is the last time you've inspected the home?
I was there this morning.
And what condition was it in this morning?
The house was clean and appropriate for the children.
Okay, so it appears that Ms. Pena has cleaned it up since the department requested so.
Yes.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Strada, do you have other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The department would call Angelica Pena.
All right, thank you. Let's see, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Pena, can you please state your name for the record?
Angelica Pena.
And are you the mother of the two children before the court in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you willing to work some services offered by the department to address the concerns that have been discussed today?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree that it is in your children's best interest for you to work the services offered by the department?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Smith, any questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Pena, do you believe that you have the ability to provide a safe and stable home for your children?
Yes, ma'am.
and you're willing to do everything that the department requests and in order to ensure that the requirements are met for you to keep your children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simons. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, and Mr. Ratliff.
Just a few, Judge. Ms. Pena, are you employed outside the home?
What was that, sir?
Where do you work?
I'm not working right now.
And why is that?
Recently I quit my job.
Do you have any disabilities of any kind?
No, sir.
How far did you go in school?
Just freshman.
You have a GED?
No, sir.
Have you used any drugs besides marijuana?
No, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Estrada. Any other questions?
Nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Pena? From anyone? Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Smith, I'm sorry, Ms. Estrada, I believe you called her. Do you have any other witness you want to call?
I'll briefly call Mr. Perez, Your Honor.
All right,
Mr. Perez,
See.
can you please state your name for the record?
Brandon Perez.
And are you the father of the 2 children before the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you willing to work services offered by the department to address the concerns that have been discussed today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree it's in your children's best interest that you work the services offered by the department?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. I'll pass the witness.
all right, Ms. Smith, any questions?
No questions, Judge.
Mr. Simons, any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
And Mr. Ratliff?
Yes. Mr. Perez, do you know of any family member that might be able to house the children?
I could find probably 1 or 2 family members.
Will you communicate that to the caseworker?
Yes, sir.
Will you let her know who those might be?
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Perez? All right,
Your Honor, I do have just one question, just briefly.
yes, ma'am.
Mr. Perez, do you provide support for the children in Angelica?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the only one working right now.
Okay, so that is your understanding. That's how she takes care of the children and pays rent,
Yes,
pays for
ma'am.
food. Okay. No further questions.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Perez? All right, thank you. Ms. Estrada, did you have other witnesses?
Nothing further from the department, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, do you have any other witnesses? Or
I do not, Your Honor.
thank you. Mr. Simons, any other witnesses?
No, sir.
And Mr. Ratliff?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Estrada, any closing?
Briefly, Your Honor, this family just has a history of issues that the department feels need to be addressed, and we feel like we will continue to be involved in this case if those issues are not addressed. We believe this case is a great candidate for court-ordered services, and for policy reasons, we cannot ask for that. But we do believe that these behaviors and the concerns can be mitigated if this family were to work some services.
All right, thank you. Ms. Smith, any closing?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is willing to work any services that the court sees fit. We do believe that the children should remain in the home. I think it would not be in the children's best interest to be removed from mom and placed in foster care. Since the department has become involved here in the last couple of months, she has done everything that she can to make sure that the home is cleaned up and safe and appropriate, and is willing to take drug tests so the department can confirm that she's not using marijuana, and is in constant contact with the caseworkers. And we just ask that she be provided some services that can help her ensure that her children have a safe and stable environment, but that they not be removed from her care, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Simons, any closing?
No, sir. No closing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ratliff. Any closing recommendations?
Judge, I think I would leave the kids with the mother and have the department continue to monitor it. I've got some concerns, but I'm not sure the removal is the answer right now, but just going into foster care.
All right, thank you. All right, I appreciate the department's concerns regarding these children. We have two very young children, 3 and 1 year old. I'm not sure of all the facts that led to the department initiating this case, but certainly if, as indicated in the affidavit, the children of that age were left alone in a home, particularly in the condition it was in, that was a very dangerous situation. Condition of a home in and of itself can provide concern for the safety and welfare of the children. However, I don't find that the department has met the burden to justify the court ordering the department to be appointed as temporary managing conservator under section 262.201 of the Texas Family Code. I do find, however, that the department has established evidence sufficient to support that there's a need for the court to order services to be participated in by the respondents and to be provided by the parents. To be provided by the department and to be participated in by the parents to try to alleviate some abuse and neglect of the children that has occurred, and to alleviate the likelihood that abuse or neglect could occur in the future. Ms. Pena, Mr. Perez, the purpose of this type of proceeding in these orders is to allow the children to remain in your home while the department tries to work with you and offer services to you and try to address those concerns. You should be aware that if you don't comply with the court's orders, then the department has the right to come back and file a suit and seek to remove the children from your home. That's not their goal. The goal is for them to remain there and for you to provide for them. These children need to be cared for. They need a clean home. They need to be properly fed, properly clothed, properly housed. They don't need to be exposed to drug use, and they don't need to be exposed to domestic violence. If you're going to be parents to these children, then be parents to them. But that's what being a parent means. You don't expose them to that. So the services I'm going to order hopefully will address that, to give you the tools to allow that to happen and for the children to remain in your care. I am going to order the department to arrange parenting classes for each of you, or to complete parenting packets, for each of you to complete substance abuse assessments and follows any recommendations for treatment, and submit to random drug testing as and when requested by the department. I am going to order you to participate in counseling to address any domestic violence or other issues you may have. A specific order of the court is going to be that the home where the children are located has to be maintained in a clean and sanitary condition. Department is allowed and to be allowed the ability to enter the home and make announced and unannounced visits to the home to check on not only the safety and welfare of the children, but also the condition of the home. I will order the respondents to cooperate to the extent it's appropriate with ECI to allow either or both of the children to participate in ECI services as arranged by the department and to comply with any service plans of the department. The court will set a compliance hearing in a few months to check on the status of the case. If the department becomes satisfied they don't need the orders any longer prior to that hearing being set, they may dismiss the suit. But if the case is still going on at that time, the purpose of that will be just to check on the status of the department providing the services to Ms. Pena and Mr. Perez, and also their compliance with those orders. Again, I encourage both of you to participate in this as an opportunity to try to have community resources help you to provide a better life and a better home for your children. If you fail to comply with those court orders and those services, then you can probably expect the department will be back with another court action in the future. That's not what we want. And our goal is for the children to remain with you outside of the department's care and involvement once this is over with. So I'd encourage you to cooperate with them. That's usually the quickest way to resolve this type of case. I am going to enter an order discharging Mr. Simons, Ms. Smith, and Mr. Ratliff from their appointment, since in the court order services case, I'm not authorized to appoint attorneys at this time. All right, with that, I'll ask the department to submit an order consistent with the court's findings and orders. And I wish Ms. Pena and Mr. Perez the best of luck to you both.